just happened.
What's up, everyone? We are here with Mofe and Ofe, our beautiful newlywed couple.
Hey.
And we're going to be asking them some fun questions. I think we have a lot to learn from them. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves. So tell us about yourself and how long you've been married.
So my name is Mofe Fagbemi.
My name is Ope Fagbemi.
We've been married. We've been married for 1 year going on 2 years. 2 years, July 31st.
Most fast.
Wow. I don't know.
The focus of today's conversation is what can a 10-year-old couple learn from a 1 year going on 2-year-old couple?
Yeah, and fun fact, I tutored Mofe when she was in high school.
Wow.
I'm not even that much older than her, but I was doing my master's program and I was like this math person then, and apparently I had something to teach her. So yeah, it's really awesome to see her in this context as a married woman, and it's just really, I'm so proud of you and what you've become like many years later.
Thank you.
So first question for you guys is, how did you meet?
Do you want to go?
All right, you can go first. That's fine.
I love that newlywed questions.
Okay. So we met in college. I was at Morgan State, and he was, I believe, in pharmacy school. And
That's right.
there was a cookout for like the African student organization. So I had gone there with my friend, and then we were leaving the cookout, and then he spotted me with one of his friends, and he like came over to try to talk to me, and his vibe was just off, and I was just like,
Can I ask a question first? Let me ask this question. You said he spotted you with one of his friends. So was the friend trying to talk to you and then it was like, what are you doing? Get out of here. And like, give us more details.
you answer that question.
I mean, so it was actually my cousin actually. So we were at the cookout and he's a DJ and stuff. So, I told him, I said, hey, who's that girl? He was like, and you want me to call her? I said, sure, why not? And so he called her for me, and then I was like trying to talk to her, and she was like a little hesitant initially, and then eventually she gave me her number. She was with her best friend. Is always with her 24/7.
So you were trying to talk to her and eventually she gave you a number. So just for those guys that want to know how to try to talk to her, can you tell us the things you said? Like,
Wow.
So I was just like, hey, how you doing? She said, my name is Mofe Oluwa. I said, my name is Ope Oluwa. So that was kind of like the corny joke that I threw in there. I think it worked and she giggled. So.
Oh.
And then, so how was the giggle? Show us the giggle. Like, giggle that way. I love it.
Okay, so my other question for you guys is, how did you know that she was the one, and how did you know that he was the one?
I started the last question. You can start this one.
So, I used to slide in her DM Snapchat for a while. So we were friends for like 2 years. She going back and forth. She thought I wasn't serious because I was not. So she didn't give me the time of day. And then the honest truth is, she was like, so you doing pharmacy now? So when are you done? She was checking the She was checking to see whether the money is coming.
So you see what they said about girls look for potential.
She gauged that potential with me. Because I peeped that. Because I was like, all this while you didn't, you weren't responding. Now you're responding to me. But so when I already knew she was the one from the first time I saw her. She was, because I know she kept showing up. The funny thing is that we didn't even know. The same day I met her, we met again that same day without even knowing. So we ended up at the same place, mutual friends, without even realizing that we knew each other. So so that was actually like one of those things, one of those signs for real for me that she just keeps showing up.
Okay, so for me, I think it was more so he was just consistent. Like even after he would slide in my DMs or he would text me and I would ignore, he would just be consistent. And he was always there. And like honestly, the times we did have conversations on the phone, they were just good conversations. It wasn't forced. It was just natural connection. Like he was honestly a very good friend, even though he had his quirky, annoying habits. He was still a very good friend. And he was just consistent. And then like I think it was just one day that we kind of just, actually went out on a proper date, and we just kind of connected after that.
So first date was after how long?
I feel like 2 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's funny that she mentions liking him being like consistent, because a lot of ladies are like, if I said I don't want you, like let me alone. Like a lot of ladies are like, why does he keep coming back? So apparently some girls value consistency. Like he does really want me that bad. I don't know.
I mean, so let's think about it. Like it's better to go with that consistent, reliable guy that has potential from pharmacy school than to go with the guy that just wows you one day and it just runs away and leaves you behind. So
yeah,
pharmacy consistency. Keep that in mind, ladies.
Okay, so the third one is, what do you guys do to each other that makes your heart flutter?
Aww.
That's a good question. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. I think the tip that make my heart flutter, I would say the kiss.
Wait, demonstrate. Wait, so we understand what you're talking about, okay?
You can't see it, right? the power of that flutter is subjective.
You guys see the flutter?
So was that the very first time you had fluttered, or was there a flutter before that flutter?
There was flutter by sight.
I love it.
I think for me, so naturally physical touch is not one of my love languages. I don't know why. I'm just like, I do like giving people hugs, but it just doesn't come natural to me. I overthink a lot, and physical touch is one of his love languages. So he
They're brothers.
Hey,
I don't know why she says that. Why you gotta?
First of all, we're guys. Those guys, it's
Physical touch.
exactly.
So, but he make sure to take the initiative of before I leave out the house, kisses, hugs. When I come home from work, kisses, hugs. So that's something that actually makes my heart flutter, and I think it's very sweet, because I feel like, especially growing up in African household, you don't see your parents do that all the time.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I love to be able to make that a natural norm in my house. So I love that.
Fun fact, growing up in my house, my parents were always kissing.
You know what they say? They say when you get married, you get married to the person and everything around them.
Exactly.
So for me, I was always saying my dad always.
My own dad's love language, God bless. There was no kissing, no what. God bless you. That's awesome. How has the honeymoon phase been? I know you guys are kind of graduating out of the honeymoon phase, but how was it?
So what is the honeymoon phase, if I may ask?
Okay.
Maybe year 0 to year end of
0 to 1. 0
end
to
of
1.
2.
So right after you got married, I know you should keep honeymoon forever.
Yeah.
But 0 to 1, how was it? Going from being single to being married, essentially.
I think going from being single to being married, the one thing when anybody asks me, how do you feel about, initially, I'm like, well, you're missing out, because I don't get to wake up alone. So to me, that's I think a big part of it is the fact that I feel like, oh wow, how was I doing it before?
Wow, that's amazing. You're married, right? When you have those thoughts.
So yeah, I agree. The first honeymoon phase, it's I feel like it's a continuous process. You have to always just put in the same effort you did when you were dating. Still try to be sweet to the person, still try to pay attention to their love languages, still try to pay attention to things that that they like. I think the first, almost 2 full years has been very blissful, and we've kind of created the type of life we want for ourselves, and we've kind of created the standard that we want to keep throughout our marriage. I know as things go on, things will happen, but I think we've kind of are trying to equip ourselves now so we can handle those things when they come up.
Yeah, I think that just like an eagle, we go through the storms, but then you rise above it. That's kind of like what what's been going on.
I love that.
So what are you doing to, keep the honeymoon phase alive constantly?
We travel a lot. So his job requires tend to travel a lot, so sometimes we go together, and then we plan trips a lot. We go out on date nights a lot, and we try to do things that we enjoy to do when we were dating, and like things that we would do like in our individual lives, like hobbies or interests. We try to incorporate them together.
That's amazing.
Beautiful.
Never stop dating your spouse.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, what is your advice for other couples that are trying to find love?
You want to go first?
Well, you put Oluwa in the mix.
No, for real, no, that's true. You put a lot, like,
Yes, that's right.
God
That's
should always
right.
be involved. I think also just like being patient. That's very important. Like being patient in the waiting process. Like know yourself, love yourself. Don't feel as though you need another person to complete you. Because when you have that self-love, another person is just surplus. And then also just like when it's being patient with yourself and being patient with the person too. Like nobody's perfect, so have your standards, but don't use Instagram as your standards. Don't use social media as your standards. Use your standards of like your moral values or where you see yourself at. Don't use the standards of like social media, because we're in that social media age and people get caught up with just social media standards. Those aren't real standards. So yeah, patience all around with God and with yourself.
And I agree. I think definitely put God first. And the Bible tells us to love our neighbor as ourselves. So that second piece, where she said self-love is important, it actually says as yourself. So once you love yourself first, then you can be able to love others. So that's a good one.
I love that. That's really no, but that's amazing though, because I think many people either focus on as yourself, or they focus on the love your neighbors, but it kind of goes both ways.
Good both ways.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. It was wonderful to have you guys, and I wish you all the best in your marriage. I wish you that the honeymoon phase continues forever with Oluwa times 2.
Actually, Oluwa times 4 or 5.
I know, right?
That's right.
Now we're going to transition into a fun game with the Fagbemis. We, the ladies, are going to be dunking the men in water.
Right.
Essentially, it's team 10 years married versus team newlyweds, and we want to see who knows who better.
We're gonna be in this game. Come on, man.
So we're going to be reading the question. The first person to answer the question correctly gets the points. If you don't answer it correctly, or if you answer it late,
You get dogs.
Are we ready?
Yes.
So the first question is, what is our favorite Bible verse?
John 3:16.
John 3. Oh, no.
It's not even John.
No, I was trying to say.
It's nowhere near John.
It got in my head. No, that's
Well,
cool.
it's really John 3:16.
Wow.
See,
The way he's saying so confident.
you just set us up.
What makeup item can I not do without?
Mascara.
Lipstick.
Oh Lord.
Okay, what makeup item?
Vaseline. I don't always wear lipstick. I always have Vaseline
lip
or
gloss.
lip balm.
I'm trying.
Dresses versus pants.
Dresses. No, too late. Lord.
What part of you had to answer this fast? Did you not hear?
I'm still trying to understand the game.
Who's my favorite artist?
Oh, jeez.
Oh my! Kelly Rowland. No. I know your favorite artist. I just don't remember her name right now.
Lauren Hill.
Lauren Hill.
What
Oh man,
is
how's your face dry, bro?
I'm not getting dumped.
Oh my god.
All right.
Oh, okay.
cookies versus chips? Cookies or chips?
Chips.
Cookies.
Why did you take so long?
Don't you know this water is cool?
How many kids do I want?
3. 2.
All right.
So you want 3 kids?
What month did we get married?
July.
What is my favorite holiday?
Huh? Going to Antigua.
No.